So here it says turn the lower edge of the front facings to the outside along the facing fold line. Now, what that means is we're going to turn it inside out, like this, along the facing fold line, okay? You see that little clip right there is where you indicated your fold. You're going to turn it inside out like this, okay? So it looks like that. Now we're going to stitch across the facings 1 1/4 inches from the lower edge. So that means just 1 1/4 inch from the lower edge from here over to here. 1 1/4 inches from the outside edge, from the bottom edge there. So I'm going to measure on my machine here. That's this line right here. Make sure I'm on the right line. Yep, okay. Be sure and backstitch. And I'm going to get that thread tail out of the way. There we go. And backstitch there. Okay, now it wants you to trim the corner and trim this edge or this extra off. So that means I'm going to trim this corner, and I'm also going to trim this extra facing off, being careful not to cut through my front. Okay? Now, turn the facing to the inside like this. Okay, and see how the bottom edge naturally just wants to fold up? Just like that. Use my seam gauge to push that corner out. Make a nice corner there. Okay, and then that's going to get pressed like this. Okay, and it wants you to clean finish the raw edge of the hem down here. So you can turn it, to do that, you can turn it inside out and clean finish that edge, or you can do a narrow hem, which is basically just turn this up 1 1/4 inches and press it all the way across, and then fold it in like this, and then press it again, and then just stitch it down like that. And so let's go to the ironing board and I'm going to show you that. Okay, so I have it turned inside out still. And I am going to fold it up 1 1/4 inches. Right there. So see, that's going to be right along that stitching line that I just did. Put a pin in there. One and a quarter inches there. And you're going to do this all the way across. Now do both sides before you do this. Okay, when you do the facings, you're going to do this on both facings, the left and the right. Then you do this part all the way across. And I'm pressing that. Okay. Now I'm going to take and just fold this under like that. Okay, now this is ready to be stitched down. But before I do that, I'm going to pin that, pin in there like that. Now before I do that, before I stitch it, I'm going to turn this right side out. Okay. Use my seam gauge to push out the corner. And see how nice and neat that is? Now I'm going to press that again. Sorry, I got a lot of stuff in my throat, so my voice is kind of gravelly. Okay, now once I get it done like this all the way across, I'm going to stitch right along that edge from that end down to here and just go all the way to the end. Okay, and that will finish the bottom hem.